All right, let's talk about this bloodbath here. We got the Packers and the Bills for Sunday Night Football.
You know that this is like the type of week where
I know.
like everybody is down on them, and then they,
And they
suck
win.
you back
Because
in.
they
and
play
then, like,
up
let
to
you-
their competition and
Do
play
they?
down to them.
Not this year. That's been true in past years.
We'll see on Sunday. But I,
mean,
feel
again,
like they're going to play up.
The problem is like there are 3 good teams in the NFL, and they've not played any of them yet.
We're about to find out with one of them.
I mean, they lost to the Giants, they lost to the Jets.
And they lost to the Patriots. Keep in mind the quarterbacks that those teams had at the time when they lost to.
Bill Zappi's in the. That's it.
They lost to the Patriots.
No, we
They
beat
won
the
that one,
Patriots,
yeah.
but they
Barely.
barely did.
They lost to Minnesota.
Lost to Minnesota.
They should have lost to the Patriots.
They beat and they lost to the Giants, who
Because
didn't
we
have no
wouldn't-
secondary.
We decided
Or
to play
receivers.
prevent on
Or
Justin
receivers.
Jefferson all game.
Here goes 2 little quick stats for y'all while you're thinking about this. From the dope sheet, the Bills are the only team in the NFL that the Packers have not won a road game against. Also, the Packers have won 13 consecutive primetime games during the regular season. It is the longest winning streak by an NFL team dating back to 2000. One of those are going to be broken. So either the Packers are going to lose in primetime or they're finally going to beat the Bills.
I tell you what, one of them things seemed a lot more likely than the other.
Boy,
so, like, I feel like every week we've come in here and we've tried
It's the same
to,
conversation.
yes, but like we've tried to be like, okay, it's this one little thing that needs
It's
to be
not.
tweaked, and then they'll be fit. Like, I think that, and I text this to you guys during the game. I'm like, I think this just might be a bad football team. Like, there isn't like some fix that they can put in. Like, they can't fix the offensive line, they can't fix the receivers, they can't fix Rodgers. They can't fix the defense. Like, it's just, this is what they are.
I'm
at
going
this
to push back on one thing you said. You said every week we come in here and say it's like one thing they got to switch. The last 2 weeks we've been saying like, no, it's Rodgers being inaccurate. It's the receivers dropping passes. It's the offensive line not being able to block. It's the defense playing out. Like we've been, it's a laundry list of issues with the teams. That's the only point of
Okay.
what you made that I'll push back on.
And I agree with that. I would say like it felt like every week we come in like, okay, it's like it's a tweak. It's a this thing needs
not
to
a
get figured
substantial
out. Like
tweak.
it's not like we didn't identify, like it's just a systemic failure all across the board. Like I don't think that it's necessarily like they can't tweak their way out of this. Like I don't think that there's a way.
it's coaching.
It's everything.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Like I
feel
don't
like
know
the
if
root of most of it comes down to coaching. Like we're one of the most penalized team in the league now. That's coaching.
I
Scheme.
think
It's
we
coaching.
were last week, but I don't think the week before we were super heavily penalized. But the thing with it is like, I think for the last couple weeks at least, I know I've been saying it's more than one thing. The
Mhm.
Packers have a few different glaring issues, and one
I don't think that. Yes, they need to run Aaron Jones.
But apparently,
But-
part of it.
LaFleur wants to, and Rodgers don't.
And then on the see, that's one thing about this Packers team where it's like, how are you trying to analyze things? Because it's like we see a pass that's errantly thrown,
Mhm.
and we like, what was you doing? And then later on, Aaron Rodgers is like, he was supposed to be here.
Mhm.
He wasn't here. And it's like, it's hard as a fan watching the game to know which plays are because Aaron Rodgers misdelivered the pass, or which play was because the wide receiver ran the wrong route, or where they weren't supposed to be. It's hard to figure that out. So again, the issue is everybody. Rodgers, you get the blame. Receivers, y'all get the blame. Offensive line, y'all was actually all right. This past
He
week.
didn't get sacked all week.
Well, he also got the ball out the quickest he has. I think they said this season for sure.
Novel concept.
But Zach Tom was on left tackle. He had no issues. No issues over there.
Look,
Hey,
listen,
he was that right tackle. Maybe.
like Eric said, the Packers are good for coming out and like doing something. You're like, dang, I'm back in. Like they just know how to be like, no, we for real. But again, on paper, the Packers have the talent. Right now, it's about execution in many phases. And I, at this point, don't have confidence in them being able to execute the way that they need to. And everybody who's like, oh, the Packers should bring in a wide receiver. And I'm like,
I'm good with the wide receivers we got.
that sounds good.
You can't bring in a whole new crew.
Because I'm like, I get it. You want more talent there. And it's like Sammy Watkins. I'm like, nah. And Christian Watson been hurt with the hamstring. And
Sammy had a hell of a catch.
Cobb is out. Lazard
Right.
is apparently injured.
so it's like, I get why you would want to. But my hesitation with that is like, we know Aaron has always said, like, for me to connect, I need to trust my wide receiver. We got to build this up. And it's like, is bringing someone in halfway through the season who has to learn a whole playbook going to be able to endure himself to Aaron Rodgers' trust?
Fast enough.
Yeah, that's my only thing where I'm like,
And also, like, now that he's losing so many weapons, like, maybe he won't be audibly out of runs to pass the ball. Like, maybe he'll actually trust, like, the play calling
Right.
to actually, you know, like,
And
if
sometimes Matt
it's like,
LaFleur
I don't
needs to
trust
do it
any of
too.
these dudes out of here, so Aaron Jones, here you go. Like, dump off, check down.
Meanwhile, Aaron, between every other play, what the fuck are we out here doing? Yelling at full floor. They just throwing it right on the damn camera. Rogers over there having it with Matt LaFleur. Like, bro, he
Like,
I seen TikTok earlier. He was cussing at one of Robert Tanya when he was coming across. He was like, "Get your ass back over here."
Who was Rogers?
Rogers was.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
I'm like, I hear you, but that type of frustration too on the field with cats if you losing too, like that don't endear nobody.
Especially when you're not blameless. Like
Mhm.
for what I just said about we not sure about which and which and which. The times when the wide receiver is where they think they're supposed to be at, and the ball is getting delivered, they can't really catch when it's at their feet.
No
Like he threw about 6 or 7 at the ground.
first downs on. Why didn't you get down there and get it? Why didn't you throw it up, motherfuckers?
There are 3 GOATs that are going through the same thing right now. You got Rodgers, you got Brady, and you got LeBron. Like all 3 of them aren't doing their teams any favors with like their body language, with like the way they're interacting with their
Ooh, I can't
teammates.
wait to
Like,
talk about the
Oh,
Lakers.
bro, AD and LeBron.
but I'm just saying, like it's, and I'm not going to put them all in like maybe they're washed up category, but it's like when you know, like you kind of look like late stage Michael Jackson, where you don't quite like you can't get out the blocks. You know what I mean? Like when you not firing at all on all cylinders, and like the team isn't there to pick you up, like kind of like either in LeBron's case, you kind of shut down and check out, or the other two where you overcompensate and like start yelling at people for like not doing their jobs when you're not playing up to the standard that you've set for yourself.
Which I thought his comment about, because he made a comment saying that we need to get the guys that's making mental mistakes out the game. Like they just need to
said
cut
that
their
on,
reps in practice and all
Pat
of that.
McAfee show today. He said if guys ain't producing, like if too many mental mistakes, he was saying like we're having like 20%. He's like we beat ourselves a lot of times because they asked him like what did Washington
Look
do?
in the mirror, my nigga.
That's my whole point.
That's
I'm
the
like,
thing. That's what I'm
mental
saying.
errors is you overthrowing the motherfucker about 15 yards, throwing it in the goddamn dirt and shit.
Have some little bit of more
Like,
accountability.
right,
And then he said Tom Clemens gave this was his best graded game so far this season against Washington.
Who?
I said change the scale.
Whose game?
Rodgers. He said his quarterback coach, aka his buddy,
His
said
personal quarterback coach
said
that
that
he
this
pulled out of
week
retirement.
was his highest graded week as a quarterback.
Even though he was missing wide open.
I was like,
I mean, he didn't mess all season, so that might not actually be.
Like, bro, you have to take some accountability. If you hop in front of these motherfucking cameras, as fast as you be throwing people that don't have mental, that be having mental errors on the field, if you was just to come on the camera one time, like, you know what, I fucked up. Like, you know what, I'll take the L for this one. Not one game has he just said, I'll take the L.
To Tony World's point, like that's never been his MO. It's just he's been talented enough and had enough talent around him that like we just overlooked it.
so you know one thing too, I think about with Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a generational talent. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. And for years, Mike McCarthy and the Packers front office didn't give him top flight weapons. They gave him good enough, but he was so good, he was able to make them look great, right? At this point in his career, I don't think he has that ability no more. Like that's how Father Time gonna get Aaron Rodgers, I think, where he is unable to elevate good to great.
It's probably there.
But at the same time, you just took up 30% of the salary cap,
Yeah.
and the best receiver you've ever had walked out the door because they couldn't pay him enough.
No, he walked out because he didn't trust who was coming after Aaron because they offered him more than what the Raiders were, and he was like, I don't want to play with that guy, other guy. Like, no offense, but like, I ain't gonna tie my wagon here to not knowing how long.
Wishful thinking.
Right, like he's like, I'm not about to do that. I'm gonna go play with the guy I know from college.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. Eric, both of them missing each other now, probably.
But
Mark-
at the same time, like they don't have enough to spend on other people. So like even taking Devontae out of the equation, like you want more weapons. Like we ain't got more weapons money.
To Mark's point, he said also, who could have seen Joe Barry was and is a terrible defensive coordinator? When he got hired, we were like, I don't know. But then
Wasn't
they
he old as crap? But then they had a great defense
No,
for
it
2
wasn't
years.
they had last year. I was like, maybe I was wrong about Joe Barry. Like y'all had a good defense, but this year it's like you see the guys you have, and you're trying to fit these square, pegs into these round holes. Where it's like you have a team that looks like it's equipped to play man defense, and you want to keep doing the zone
because
stuff.
that's his concept.
And it's like and it's like the last 2 weeks. It's like okay, you let Jair travel. You let him actually.
Ooh,
travel.
Terry was lighting his ass up on Sunday.
Terry let him up this
Hey, he was
week,
letting him hear it. He was lighting his ass up on
because
Sunday.
every time Jair gonna stop, it's in your face. So if you're gonna give it out, you gotta be able to.
He
dish it.
he was lighting his ass up on Sunday. I was like, damn.
Jair's response afterwards was really funny to me. He's like, every dog got his day. I trust the work I put in. I know what I can do. Like it was a bad. Hey, he got it this week, but
but it does seem like across the board, like the defensive players, like individual. Preston Smith has been good. Devondre Campbell's been
Rashawn
solid.
Gary's
Rashawn
been good.
Gary-
Rashawn Gary's
been
been
the
great.
MVP.
Devontae Wyatt showed up Sunday. Quay Walker showed up. He's been actually pretty consistent.
he's
Campbell
like-
had a pick
What are-
six.
the point I was getting at is like so many people from last season regressed, like on an individual level. Like, so I pointed out those three, like those are the exceptions. Like it feels like across the board, like the safeties aren't playing great.
Yeah, the safeties have been our issue.
Fucking Eric Stokes is
Yeah, he's been getting
Getting
cut.
smoked.
But here's the thing too. To
He had
your
a good
point,
game on Sunday.
to your
No,
point,
he got
yeah.
he was
The
Brazil
Packers-
Douglas.
Saul
did.
Douglas.
the Packers defense has been worse at tackling this year, which of course makes it different. You can't pull nobody down. So like that's a big gap too, where it's like last year y'all were making these tackles and able to stop these guys, and this year they just slipping out y'all hands like it's like they covered in butter. But all that being said, who y'all got? Buffalo or Green Bay?
You know what? I think. Oh wait, one more thing.
Go ahead, brother.
Amari Rodgers.
Get him out of the punt return.
I have zero faith in this man in returning a kick.
Right. I'm sure you are a wonderful young man.
Yep.
Like you made it to the NFL. Congratulations to you. But this might not be your line of work.
I have faith in him as a receiver.
He has shown zero on offense.
From what they've been saying about him in the preseason, he really hadn't had a chance to show that during the regular season until again garbage time on Sunday. But
I mean, this is the second year, so
right, I have faith in him as an actual receiver because the way he was working, the playmaking ability that he still has, it didn't just disappear. Shut your face, Mark.
Mark
Yo,
prediction is
55-0.
55-0 Buffalo.
That's consistent though. He's been saying this for weeks. Like he's been looking at this He has had this Buffalo game circle. Like
Because this was
shit
supposed
is
to be
gonna
the easy part of the Packers' schedule. I was hoping they would walk into this game 5-2, maybe 6-1, and they 3-4.
As
So
a
like,
primetime game.
I get it. But
Also, I appreciate Packers. Shout out to y'all because like I ain't got to pay attention to football no more. So thank you. Just in time for the start of the NBA season.
I tell you what's so freeing now about this stage I'm in with my Packers. I was able to see this and be like, I don't know. They might be a Super Bowl team. I wish I could blow the whistle on people who don't think that fans can criticize the team, where it's like all this doom and gloom and y'all blaspheming against the House of Rodgers. And it's like, listen, fam, if he's bad, I'm gonna say he's bad. I'm not gonna just say he's doing this thing because I'm a fan. Like,
Hey, it ain't just sports fans. We've seen it with fans in music right now too.
ooh boy,
So they're not gonna let me save it until I pick a team between the Bears.
that's what I was saying. You have to pick. It's a pick and pull.
Oh,
But for this game, I am going to pick the Packers, and I'm gonna make that my number one confidence. Because honestly, Buffalo should win this game pretty easily.
we'll see though.
They
I feel
are.
like everybody gonna step up this game.
If they don't,
We'll be a losing team.
I mean, they
We
can
already
step.
lose
They
the team.
can step up and it still get waxed. So
we're a bad team. Hey, I can't argue. That's Mark. It's a valid point. I can't say
that's how I
anything.
started this whole rant.
Way to bring that back around, Mark. You don't even know. You helped to end that very tidily. So, are y'all picking Buffalo for y'all official picks?
Hell no.
I'm picking Green Bay.
Just dropping that confidence.
Fuck you mean?
Hey, I had to check. I had to ask the question.